In the last section, we learned how PMSs send transactions to clearinghouses. In this section, we will discuss the experience of clearinghouses talking to payers. As we have discussed, there are many different types of transactions that pass between the dentist's office and the payers. Dentists seek to determine if a patient is covered by insurance, dentists send insurance claims, and payers send information regarding the answers to dentist questions and information regarding claims and claim payments. Although each of these transactions has unique features, for simplicity, this section will only discuss sending insurance claims from dentists through the clearinghouse to the payer. To illustrate how a clearinghouse talks to a payer, let's consider the creation of a brand new fictitious clearinghouse, and let's assume they already have considerable number of claims from dentists that the clearinghouse needs to deliver. It's also important to realize that there are two sources of revenue for a clearinghouse. Number one, dentists pay the clearinghouse to deliver the claims, often through a bundled payment actually made to the practice management system vendor. And number two, payers often pay the clearinghouse for delivery of an electronic claim. Still, every electronic claim is significantly less expensive to process than a paper claim. On the first day of business, the brand new fictitious clearinghouse could simply print all the claims and deliver them via U.S. mail. This would be expensive due to the cost of postage, printing materials, and labor. As soon as possible, the clearinghouse would like to send the claim electronically to the payers. However, the payers may already accept claims from any number of already established clearinghouses and may not be interested in establishing a new connection. The insurance payer may refer the fledgling clearinghouse to the already established connections. If the new clearinghouse has a significant number of claims, then it is probable that the new and established clearinghouse can reach a mutually beneficial agreement for the new clearinghouse to send claims to the established clearinghouse for delivery. A benefit of sending claims to an established clearinghouse is that the new clearinghouse would only need to make one connection to deliver claims to any number of insurance payers. At the same time as the new clearinghouse is making connection to established clearinghouses, the new clearinghouse may be able to establish connections directly with some payers. Insurance payers typically pay a clearinghouse for each claim delivered electronically and may be interested in making a new connection, especially if the new clearinghouse was willing to deliver claims at a lower cost than their existing connections, or if the new clearinghouse had a significant number of claims that they can deliver. Sometimes a clearinghouse is fortunate enough to negotiate an exclusive contract with a payer. In these rare cases, the payer decides that they only want to accept claims from one source/gateway, and every other clearinghouse must go through this exclusive gateway. Sometimes these exclusive contracts require that the exclusive clearinghouse must accept claims from all sources and can even set maximum charge rates for third-party claims. The goal of every payer is to receive as many claims electronically as possible without the cost and trouble of maintaining multiple connections. As you can see by these illustrations, clearinghouses can both compete and cooperate with other clearinghouses at the same time. Before we leave this section on how clearinghouses talk to insurance payers, it's important to say a few words about two kinds of EDI processing: batch processing and real-time processing. Many payer processes have historically been driven by creating files containing data and then running scripts/algorithms/programs to process the data in the files. Because of this fact, it has historically been easiest for a clearinghouse to fit into an insurance payer's workflows if the clearinghouse delivered their claims data in files containing multiple claims. These files were typically transmitted from the clearinghouse to the payer in the middle of the night. The payer would process the file and create a response that the clearinghouse could pick up the following day. A disadvantage of batch processing in this fashion is that it can take multiple days for data to go from the dentist to the payer and a response back to the dentist. Consider the case where a patient has changed insurance companies and forgot to mention it to the dentist. On day 1, the dentist performs the work, creates and sends a claim to the clearinghouse. In the early morning of day 2, the clearinghouse sends the claim to the payer. Assuming the payer processes the data immediately, in the early morning of day 3, the clearinghouse receives a response file indicating that the patient is no longer covered by the insurance company, and this is delivered to the dentist later in day 3. If the claim was not delivered directly from the clearinghouse to the payer, expect to add a couple of days to this estimate to allow for batch communication between the two clearinghouses. Now let's consider the alternative, real-time processing. As the name implies, real-time processing means that the clearinghouse doesn't have to wait until the middle of the night to send a group of data to an insurance payer and wait for a response, but that the transaction can happen immediately and a response can be sent back to the dentist immediately. As mentioned earlier, a payer may do business with multiple clearinghouses, and possibly some of the connections are real-time and some are batch depending on the clearinghouse. Also, as mentioned previously in this presentation, there are a number of different transactions in addition to the 837D transaction to send a claim, and both the payers and clearinghouses may support batch processing and or real-time processing on some transactions and not others. In conclusion, the purpose of this video was to provide a high-level introduction of EDI for the dental industry. We have reviewed all of the core EDI concepts and explained how the many players in the industry interact. We hope that this has been interesting and enjoyable for you. Most of all, we hope you will join us in uniting the industry to fully adopt and implement the full suite of EDI transactions in dental care. Thank you very much for joining us for this presentation on EDI 101, an introduction to dental EDI. We'd love to hear from you. Send your comments and questions to nindetic@nindetic.com. The contributors to this presentation are listed here.